There are two words here, as you can see. One is brain, the other thing is fog. Okay, now let us visualize the situation. You are driving around a city and slowly fog sets in. What happens then? You will not be able to see what is happening in front of you, right? It will be very unclear, right? If there is a car in front of you, you might not be able to clearly see that. So we understand that when there is fog around, we cannot visualize anything clearly, right? The same thing happens to our brain too. When there is brain fog, you cannot think clearly. Your memory is not very good. When you go to a place, when you go to a room, you forget why you came to that room in the first place. These things come under brain fog. So why am I talking about brain fog in the first place? Because lot of us suffer from brain fog either for a short period or for a long period, and we don't generally recognize this as brain fog. And why should we recognize this as brain fog? Because only if we identify this, we can come out of this, we can get cured from this. This video is going to be about how this brain fog occurs to you and how you can come out of this in a span of 3 days to 3 weeks.
Om Shri Dhanvantre Namaha.
So there are multiple reasons why a person gets brain fog. It could be due to a number of medications, it could be due to systemic illnesses such as lupus, etc. But then I am going to concentrate on one particular condition which is not talked about much in the general public. That condition is called as SIBO. S-I-B-O. What is SIBO? Small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. This is what SIBO means. So what is this SIBO? How can it cause brain fog to you? Now we all know where the human intestine is located, right? If this is the large intestine, what is present inside as a complex structure is called the small intestine. Whatever food we eat first enters the stomach, then it goes into the duodenum, then it enters something called as the small intestine. After it comes into the small intestine, it stays there for some time and then it enters into the large intestine, from where it is excreted from our body. So where does this SIBO occur? So we all are aware of probiotics, right? What are probiotics? Probiotics are foods which help you nurture or which help you increase the amount of good bacteria which is present in your intestines, right? I think most of us are already aware of this. So where are these bacteria generally present? Generally we target or generally we nurture the bacteria which is present in the large intestine, generally. Why is that? Because almost around 40 to 50% of the helpful bacteria present in our body is present in the large intestine. So this large intestine is a home to lots of helpful bacteria and sometimes even harmful bacteria. So when we have probiotics, these bacteria are nurtured. So where does this small intestinal bacterial overgrowth occur? As I have mentioned, the large intestine generally has a lot of helpful bacteria, but the small intestine doesn't generally have much of a bacteria in it, because most of small intestine is useful for absorption of nutrients through something called as the villi, which is present all over the small intestine. So generally bacteria is not much present in the small intestine, though there is a minute quantity of bacteria already present in the small intestine. So what happens is that due to multiple reasons, somehow the quantity of bacteria which is present in your small intestine slowly starts increasing. Because of this condition called as small intestinal bacterial overgrowth occurs. And because of this overgrowth, one of the major symptoms of this SIBO is brain fog, right? And what are the other symptoms of SIBO? That is bloating, diarrhea, sometimes constipation, feeling of lack of appetite. All these are the general symptoms of SIBO. If you have any of these symptoms, along with that, if you also have brain fog, it means that it occurred because of this condition called as SIBO. Now, how do we rectify this condition? How does Ayurveda look at this condition? And how do we naturally come out of this condition? So what happens when when we eat a certain food? It enters into our stomach, it gets digested there, and after that it enters into the small intestine where it is absorbed, and then it goes into the large intestine where the bacteria work on that particular food and extract whatever remains from that food. Right? This is what generally happens. But then, if your appetite is not good, if the quantity of hydrochloric acid which is present in your stomach is not enough, or if the pH of your stomach is not enough, that is, it should be around 1.5 to 3.5, but if it is more than that, if it is alkaline, what happens is that the food you eat is not properly digested. So what happens then? It enters into the small intestine where the semi-digested or improperly digested food is present. This semi-digested or improperly digested food has to be digested in some way so that it can be absorbed into the body, right? Because it shouldn't go wasted. So in this place, the bacteria works. The bacteria tries to digest that food. When you keep a certain food outside for a long time, for 3 days or 5 days or 10 days also, what happens? Slowly fungus starts creeping in, right? And if you look closely, even sometimes bacteria also starts fermenting that food. So if a certain food is not digested properly, the bacteria which is already present in the small intestine or the large intestine starts acting on it and starts fermenting that food. And during this process, it releases lots of harmful gases, one of which is sulfur gas. That is why when people fart, it tends to smell because it contains lot of gases which are like sulfur. So when the digestion is not proper, the food that we have eaten has to be digested one way or the other. So the body takes the help from the bacteria which is present around to digest it, which does not generally happen very well. This is one reason why the bacteria tends to pool up in the small intestine from the large intestine, because the bacterial content is generally low in the small intestine, which I have already told you. But then what happens is that in such situations, the bacteria from the large intestine starts entering into the small intestine and then works there. This is one reason. The other major reason is that the hydrochloric acid or the pH which is present in the stomach helps in digesting or destroying harmful bacteria which enters our body through the food. That is, if you have a certain food which has certain bacteria in it, the first line of defense occurs in the stomach itself. That is, the hydrochloric acid digests or destroys this bacteria and then it enters into the body. But if your digestion is not proper, if the hydrochloric acid content is not enough, what happens is that this bacteria slowly starts staying in your body, it starts entering into the small intestine and it starts causing havoc there. That is how the small intestinal bacterial overgrowth occurs. Okay? So how can we prevent this or how can we cure this? In allopathic medicine, there is no much cure to this, because if they are going to give you probiotics, it is going to increase the number of bacteria. It is going to increase the quantity of bacteria which is present in your intestines, right? If they are going to give you antibiotics, it not just destroys the harmful bacteria, but it also destroys the helpful bacteria which is present in the body. So further it causes other problems. So they can neither give lot of antibiotics nor can they give probiotics. So how does Ayurveda help here? In Ayurveda, there is a very simple solution to this. Ayurveda says, if you can improve your digestion, if you can improve the quantity of hydrochloric acid, or if you can improve the pH of your stomach itself, it means that whatever food that you are eating is properly digested, right? If the food is properly digested, there is nothing for the bacteria to act upon, right? Only if the food is improperly digested, the bacteria has to act upon that. If the food is actually properly digested, there is nothing for the bacteria to act upon, right? For the harmful bacteria to act upon. What happens is that once you improve your appetite, slowly these bacteria starve. And when these bacteria starve, they die out, right? And once that happens, only the healthy bacteria remain in your body and the harmful bacteria is eradicated from your intestines. This is how Ayurveda works. I have personally seen in multiple conditions where people had brain fog and the associated symptoms like bloating or diarrhea or constipation, etc. And when I just improved their appetite with certain procedures called as Deepana and Pachana, which is told in Ayurveda, I was able to see changes in them in a span of even 3 days for some people, and for some people it took around 3 weeks or even 3 months. But then you will start seeing changes, because what happens is that this bacterial content reduces and these gases reduce, and because of that the brain fog also does reduce. So if you can keep a very good digestion, if you have very good appetite, if you feel that after having food you feel light, it means that your digestion is very good. If your digestion is good, great, continue to do whatever you are doing. But then if it is not so, you need to reduce the quantity of food that you are eating and increase the quality of food that you are eating. And have certain spices when you eat, like pepper or cinnamon or turmeric, garlic, etc. All these help you in improving the digestion also. So this could be a very good solution to a condition called as SIBO, which can cause brain fog.
Do subscribe to our channel to be updated with our latest videos. If you like this video, please share it with your friends, and if you have any opinions or questions, do write them in the comment section below.